Okay. Welcome, everyone. This is the February 11th, 2026 Philadelphia Art Commission meeting. My name is Catherine Liss, Acting Director of the Philadelphia Art Commission. This meeting is being recorded. By attending the meeting, you are giving consent to be recorded. The agenda and meeting materials can be found on the Public Meetings page of the Philadelphia Art Commission website. You may use the QR code on the screen to access the web page. A link to the meeting recording will also be posted to the website once available. The agenda for today's meeting is listed for reference on this slide. We will be reviewing 4 items for administrative review, followed by 1 item for final review and 3 items for concept review. Please note that you are currently in room 18029. There are 2 doors along the side wall to your left. These doors lead to the elevator lobby. Restrooms are in the lobby across from the elevators. In the event of an emergency, loudspeaker announcements will provide safety information. If you do not hear an announcement, please follow the directions of security officers and staff.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Rayed Nasser. Sorry for the late start. Next, we'll have the meeting format. The next few slides will take us through the sequence of today's meeting. Full review items will start with an applicant's presentation. Next slide. The commissioners' discussion will follow the applicant's presentation. Public comment will follow the commissioners' discussion. We will hear from commenters in the rooms first. I can't see, sorry about that. Followed by the participants virtually. The commissioners will vote following public comments and discussions. Member of the public, you will have the opportunity to comment on the agenda items. Questions and comments will be heard for each presentation. You may participate either in person, online, or by phone. If you have any difficulties participating, staff excuse me, are available to assist you. Please be respectful to others and limit your comments to 2 minutes.
Commissioners, good morning. Thank you for joining us today. I'm going to call on you one at a time. Please introduce yourself. Please remember to speak directly into your microphone. Commissioner Matthew.
Good morning, it's Dr. Matt, and welcome everyone.
Commissioner James.
Morning, Jim Lowe, and present.
Commissioner Rebecca.
Good morning, Rebecca Siegel. Glad to be here.
Commissioner Carmen.
Good morning, all.
And Commissioner Rayed.
Morning again.
Great. The Art Commission will be voting by roll call. I will ask commissioners for their vote verbally and individually at the end of each agenda item. Please remember to state your name before making comments so that people who are not here in person can tell who is speaking. I will now pass the microphone to Commission Chair Rayed to call the meeting to order.
Good morning again. We have quorum. Meeting is open. And so do we have the? Oh my God. Sorry. We have the minutes for October, November, and December. Did you have time to review it? Does anybody has any question? Any public comments? So this is going to be a consensus vote.
Do you need a motion?
Call for motion.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Oh, is that correct? Yes, you're right. Second. Oh, I was going to move today. Okay. All in favor, say aye.
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 Anyone says no, say nay. Okay. So the next one will be the recommendation from the sign and oh my God, sign and street committee recommendation. You have time to review all of them? I think we're going to have, this is also consensus vote. Do we have any public comments? No?
We have no raised hands.
All right, can I have a motion to?
Motion to approve.
Second, anybody?
Second.
Okay.
Chair, I must precludes myself from voting on this.
Okay, James will be. All right. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? No one. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, we have 4 items on our administrative agenda today. First up, the Office of Transportation and Infrastructure Systems, or OTIS, in partnership with Intersection, has submitted a series of 8 new bus shelter upgrades as part of their ongoing shelter improvement program. For each location, the shelter's surrounding sidewalks are being improved if necessary, and each is also being reviewed by the Streets Department for compliance with Complete Streets and 88 dimensional standards.
I do have a question on one of the bus shelters. Is this the right time? Number 5, it shows it being built on grass. Is that a error of the picture, or they're gonna create a cement base, or what's gonna go?
Yeah, they haven't done a really good job on the design, but if you see the bottom part, it looked like they did take the grass, they extended. If I'm not, I'm looking at this completely. Yeah, it is in the bottom, you see? Oh, they misplaced it too. Could be in there and it's still there. Anyone for Otis? Yeah,
It's gonna be on the cement, on the sidewalk.
it looks like.
Next to the planter.
Extending the sidewalk.
Yeah, next to the planters. You see what I did look at it too, and I had the
It
same.
goes-
It's supposed to be. If we look at the graphic in the bottom,
Right, it's next to the
it's
planter.
next to the planter.
Mhm.
They're not doing a really good job.
Yeah.
I did look at it too. I was like, oh. Anything else? Anyone? Any public comments, questions?
We've no raised hands from the public.
Okay. So,
Motion to approve.
What did you have?
you do have a comment? Otis?
I just had, the question was the distance between the kiosk and the glass and bench. Is that 3 foot, 3'6", ADA compliant, so that a wheelchair?
Oh, you're talking about from
Usually
this side or
it is.
from this side?
Coming
Go
through.
full
Okay.
back.
Sticks and.
Oh.
Just wanted to get an idea what that dimension was. I don't think it's shown. It looks like, but being that it's not dimensioned down.
Well, there is not someone from Otis on the call today to speak to this. I do know that this is all reviewed additionally by the Streets Department specifically for those types of ADA dimensional standards.
I see what you mean, but I have looked at it around and they do have a space, actually. Yeah. All right, we're waiting for a second. All right, so consensus vote, all in favor, say
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Opposed. All right, carries.
Okay, our next item for administrative review, Bicycle Transit Systems, or BTS, on behalf of Indigo and the Office of Transportation and Infrastructure Systems, is seeking administrative approval for 5 new Ike Smart City kiosks at bike stations at the intersections of 4th and Oregon, Wendover and Henry, Delaware and Laurel, Delaware and Ellen, and Delaware River Trail and Penn Street. Just as a reminder, final approval for the Ike Smart City kiosks was granted in February 2024 with the note that future locations would be reviewed administratively. And in early 2025, additional information was provided regarding the community engagement process for the kiosks themselves. For each location, the kiosks are also being reviewed by Streets Department for compliance with ADA dimensional standards. Additional information has been provided by the applicant team concerning the approved and proposed kiosk locations citywide in response to prior requests from the commission. And a representative from BTS should be available on the call to address further questions.
I do have a question on, first of all, what's dead, what
Dead
does
zones.
dead zone mean?
location,
Dead location.
are they removing?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, state your name, please.
Yes, hi, good morning. I'm Nate Bowman Johnston from Bicycle Transit Systems. Thank you. So dead locations are locations that have fallen out due to various reasons. So the Art Commission review is at the very beginning of a lengthy process. So after our commission, we go to PICO to identify a power source. Sometimes sites fall out because a viable power source can't be identified. They're also reviewed by Streets Department for right-of-way compliance and things like that. Sometimes sites fall out because of that as well. So we have about 8 sites on here that have fallen out for those reasons.
Okay. Go ahead, James. I have a question.
Have alternate sites been identified nearby that meet your utility requirements?
In some cases, yes. And that's why we're trying to, continue submitting sites and build up a pipeline, knowing that we do have a pretty significant fallout rate.
Yeah, I do have, if it's possible, because I forgot where it was. I was driving, I did see the space, the pedestrian space and the bicycle, it was probably less than 2 foot. And with the snow and all that kind of things, it would make it difficult for a lot of people. So if there's a possibility, you see how Otis does with the graphic? If you can show us the distance, how much pedestrian space do we have, adding the bicycle size? Do you follow me? Because it's so hard when I was like, wow, people weren't able to really use that size of the walk because of the bicycles.
You might have answered this question a year or more ago. How are sites selected, and are there any unserved communities that you're planning to heighten the amount of bicycles?
Hi, I'm Laura Bowles. I'm the planning manager for the Indigo Bike Share program. So my entire job is selecting Indigo Bike Share sites, and we do ongoing expansion year over year. We're adding 40 new Indigo stations this year, regardless of what's going on with our IKE program. Our IKE program, in order to choose sites, we are really limited to what is best both for bike share and for advertising. So we look at the entire system overall, where we can fit a bike share station, where the bike share station will pass right-of-way compliance, and also where it is beneficial for our advertising partner to put an IKE panel there. So when we overlay those two different inputs, we have very, very limited locations that fit both things. And that is kind of the first step in trying to figure out where a bike share and an IKE will end up.
Any specific community considerations?
Oops, I'm sorry. Absolutely. We have an entire community engagement team that we, when it comes to bike share stations in general, we have a goal. We are an equity-based bike share system. So our goal is to bring bike share to the entire city eventually. So we are constantly speaking with community, talking to council members and RCOs to see who is interested in bringing bike share. We also work with Otis to see which communities are getting improved bike share infrastructure, so where the bike lanes are coming. And we try to overlay all of those things when we just determine each year where we're going to add new bike share stations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One final question.
Sure, please.
Has there been a study of bike share locations and gentrification?
Oops, sorry. You mean how, like, if bike share
Neighborhood.
causes gentrification?
Well, how neighborhoods get gentrified and bike share is seen as a added plus to a certain neighborhood in transition?
So I don't know if there's been a study done on it. I would say that our goal as a system is to serve all communities regardless of what is going on in the community at that time. And we really try to emphasize communities that are not being gentrified, communities that are traditionally low income, that are traditionally disenfranchised, to try to really encourage additional infrastructure being built in those communities.
Thank you.
Just to add to that, I see South Philadelphia. I mean, I see everything is concentrated like on the central area. South Philadelphia, I don't know, Snyder Avenue could be, look, the sidewalk is perfect. And I think it could be useful for the community over there now that we're talking about that.
Absolutely, that's a great suggestion.
So I guess one additional question is, are there any programs that are tied to this that encourage the use of bikes in certain communities that are not using them as much?
Yeah, so we work really closely with Otis and the Bicycle Coalition of Philadelphia to do a whole series of classes and programming. So we have everything from learn to ride classes to urban riding basics. Every year we have a cohort of community ambassadors that are folks that Otis hires for the riding season, which is really like May through October. And these are folks that are embedded in communities. And a lot of those folks are leading classes, leading rides in those communities for people that live there. So the activation side of what we do is really key and really important.
So do you have any stats, any numbers that show how effective those programs are?
We do. I don't know them off the top of my head. That's something we could follow up with. We do. We have a lot of data about utilization in different, based on a station or based on a community where we have a cluster of stations, and the relationship between programming and how that helps drive utilization.
I think that would be helpful.
Yeah, definitely. Any public comments?
Actually, I have a question
sure, go ahead,
on
Tim.
one of the stops. So, Delaware, I'm sorry, let's go over here. So I had it and then I lost it. Yeah, so the Delaware and Ellen stop, I was looking at the graphic for it and then the image after it, and it seems like it's a bit shorter than other stops. Is that on purpose? Like, or is there another spot on that corner that maybe it can go be as long as the other ones?
Yeah, so when it comes to our IKE program, we are putting in some stations that are smaller than maybe our traditional stations. The plan for this intersection is actually to add additional bikes to this square that's not shown in here. So our current technology, our 3.0 technology, allows us to put docks down that aren't connected to one another physically. So we could put a line along Delaware, and then if you look at the image back where the planters are, we can put another line of docks back there.
Okay, that's really helpful. Yeah, because I'm a user of these stops, and I was like, but now that I'm thinking about it as a user, I wonder, the angle that we're seeing this image, it almost like the indigo sign almost like obscures the bikes themselves. Will the other line of bikes also have a kiosk on them? Or okay, cool. So it's like it seems like they're just kind of like towering over the bikes. So okay, thank you.
Okay. So this is also a consensus vote. Can I have motion?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? None. All right, thank you.
Okay, our third item for administrative approval is a storage building at Worcester Playground. Philadelphia Parks and Recreation requests administrative approval for a prefabricated concrete storage building at Worcester Playground. The project includes the installation of a prefabricated concrete storage building with exterior dimensions of approximately 20 feet by 14 feet by 11 feet high, and it has minimal visibility from the street.
Any questions? Concerns? Looks fine to me. Okay. Any public comments?
We have no raised hands.
Looks simple. It's hidden from the line of the softball team, or softball field. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All right, it's consensus vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, ayes have it.
Okay, our final item for administrative approval is adult fitness equipment at Cliveden Park. Philadelphia Parks and Recreation is requesting administrative approval for improvements at Cliveden Park. Cliveden Park is currently in design for proposed adult fitness equipment, which includes nearly 1,200 square feet of new safety surface and some minimal sidewalk replacements. The current proposal was added to a previous site renovation project. The previous playground replacement project was approved by the Art Commission in February 2024, and construction was completed in August 2025. The color palette of the adult fitness equipment was selected to match the color palette selected by the community for the playground replacement. Existing site photos, site aerial, proposed fitness equipment layout, and equipment renderings are included for an understanding of the site and scope, and no trees will be removed as part of the project.
Understand. I see.
And I guess the resurfacing will be permeable, so it won't disturb water drainage.
Thank you. Okay, we do have someone.
Jane Anderson from the Capital Programs Office. Yes, the safety surface is permeable.
Go ahead, Jane, please.
I'll just say I appreciate the color shift in the playground equipment. It contrasts better with the environment around it.
Yeah,
so.
it looks really nice in person too.
And also great community engagement.
How was the type of equipment selected? Just a general question in the sense of how do you come about the design adult play equipment?
The equipment was chosen, first thing for maintenance, so we didn't want anything with moving parts because that can become, breaks easily. So all of the equipment is fixed, like there are no moving parts. And the three pieces of equipment were chosen just to work out different areas of the body. So there's one that's primarily for upper body, one for kind of cardio and kind of lower body, jumping through the nets, and then The third is more of like a core, that just, I think there's a different variety of kind of workouts you can do on the core machine. So we just wanted to, have a variety and things that were chosen, that can be maintained easily.
Thank you.
Go ahead, James.
No, I was looking at the netted part, and it might be challenging for some people, and they might need some guardrails or something like that. That's why I say, how was this selected? Is it coming from a catalog book or something like that?
Yeah, all the pieces are, kind of like, they're not customized pieces. They're selected basically from a catalog.
Mhm.
I noticed it says construction entrance. Is because you're gonna have a gate or something? Is it gonna be gated?
Not when it's open. During construction, there'll be a temporary construction fence so that the other areas of the park won't be disturbed and people won't be able to wander into the construction area.
Okay, so when it's done, there is no entrance
Correct.
from any side. Okay. I wish they have more equipment.
Yeah, it would be nice, but yeah, small budget on this one.
Oh, talking about small budget. Okay. Any other comments? Public comments? All right, so can I have a motion?
Motion.
Give me 1 second.
Second.
All right. All in consensus, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, there you have it.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
you.
Star Garden, oh God, they're back.
Okay, our first presentation for final review is the Star Garden Playground improvements. If you're here to present this project, you can proceed to the podium.
This is a big,
One with the tower.
and no, this is the one on Lombard Street. But wow, they did a lot of work here. From the,
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Can you hear me? Better? So do you move this? Okay, thank you. So good morning. My name is Mark Peronish. I'm a landscape architect with the Capital Programs Office, and I'm presenting on behalf of Parks and Recreation for Star Garden. I was requested at the initial meeting to provide more information about the summary of the community engagement process, signage, and lighting conditions at the playground. This slide speaks to the community engagement process that has gone on through the project. It was initially started prior to 2017 with the community. Renovations to the site have been in discussion with the community prior to 2018 when the Pennsylvania Horticultural Society held a professional services design requirements contract with the city. They progressed the plans with community input up to the schematic design phase shown here in green. Refinement of the scheme was put on hold by the community as they investigated fundraising for a scope which might include building and renovations, along with the cooling of overall efforts due to COVID. Once resumed, the project was considered to be a simple replacement alteration effort to be managed by Parks and Recreation designers using the direct purchase option shown here in blue. PPR met regularly with the Star Gardens neighbors and friends, the core community advisory committee for the renovations to reassess the site and to refine play equipment selections. It was decided at some point that we needed to bring in professional consultants, and Ground Reconsidered was hired to progress the design from schematic through construction documentation phases shown here in black. Several meetings were held on the site with the Star Gardens community of friends and neighbors to review site conditions and concerns, along with drafts of designs as they were being reviewed, and to coordinate submission of information to DCNR for a grant request. A great portion of the text you see here was written by the community for their submission to the DCNR. So there's some information in there that speaks about how they engaged with Parks and Rec from their viewpoint. Full virtual community meetings were held with the councilperson in attendance on September 19th, 2023 and May 13th, 2025. And the next slides speak to those engagement processes. So this is the enlargement of the proposed plan as a reminder for everyone here, since it's been a while since we've presented to the commission. This slide was from a May 13th, 2025 community presentation, and we can refer back to this if necessary. The next three slides were exhibits that were boards that were posted at the playground during the community's all-day Spring Fest held on May 3rd, 2025. Included at the site was a flyer announcing the upcoming virtual meeting and providing invitation details to be held at that virtual meeting. This was also distributed to the community via email. So now going on to the sign portion. These images are of the primary entrances of the site. The ones at the top are the 6th Street entrance and the secondary entrance on Lombard Street, showing the existing signage that exists there. Typically prohibitions, no vehicles, no drinking, and the time shown from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. So all these signs that I'm showing you now are from the standard manual, Parks and Recreation Standard Signs Manual. This building identification sign will be placed on the exterior fence at 6th Street and Lombard Street entrances. This is an enclosed locking bulletin board to be mounted on the exterior of the fence at the 6th Street entrance. This is a double-sided post-mounted sign, and it's situated between the playground and the spray ground, and will post the standard prohibitions and ideas for those activities. This sign will post rules and prohibitions for the use of the baseball field, and it will be mounted on the backstop fence near the entrance to the field. So this is a plan showing the location of all those signs. As you can see, the bulletin board and the identification sign on 6th Street are on opposite sides of the entrance as shown on that original photograph. So this original plan was what was shown at the previous Art Commission meeting, showing the lighting effects and the entrances to the buildings and the entrances to the site. It also shows in yellow the area where we had considered or are considering putting conduit for future lighting phase. So this is the rendering of that, a night rendering of the site with the existing conditions, showing the survey of the playground as it stands now. And then this is the proposed plan of the improvements that we'll be including there. The lighting plan didn't show there's a spotlight, if you can see down at the bottom on Rodman Street. There's a spotlight that's kind of shining right into the playground from across the street. And I'm assuming that was placed there by Parks and Recreation for additional lighting to help bring in more light at that site. So as mentioned before, we are proposing to put in conduit. So double spare conduits, which are side by side, are part of this next phase of construction. So those will be installed when we do this construction now. They are separated so that there's one for low voltage lighting or low voltage use, security cameras or things like that, and line voltage for lighting. And the idea is that those conduits link to the landscape areas where, if needed to, they can trench later to install lights or place security cameras where they're needed. And the idea is that those areas are more easily accessed and won't cause any problems to the new improvements that we're putting there now, the safety surface and the concrete. And then those link to other landscape areas. So basically the entire playground area can be accessed with electric in the future if needed. So our schedule is to begin construction this spring. We want to have the playground completed absolutely by July 1st when summer camp starts. So we're under a tight time frame. We want to get the approvals going and start coordinating the different contractors' construction schedules so that we can meet that deadline. Thank you.
Yeah, so a couple of questions. Great presentation. I think when you were showing the bulletins that and the signs in there, were those, and these were from the Park and Rec's manual?
Correct.
So you normally don't present those to the sign committee here, or have those? been-
Correct.
Okay. got
Yeah,
it.
yeah, no, they're standardized, that it's across the board, that Parks and Recreation has developed that manual. And so that's what we, we
Okay,
follow that.
just clarifying that. And then the second part was on the visuals that for the I don't know, I don't want to mispronounce this, but the Kapunsi Trail. I see like a type of fence near the play structure that's looks like a white picket fence almost. So is that, and I'm trying to reconcile this image with the overall site plan that shows the gates on the outside. Like, are you all updating the gates to match this like picket fence style, or is this just more of a decorative gate? Yeah. I mean, I like it, but I'm just
Well,
not
no,
sure.
so thanks for that question. Sorry, I didn't explain it more fully this time. Going through the first time, I probably mentioned that this is renderings from the play manufacturer. So instead of using the background of the actual city, they just put in, trees. I mean, they look beautiful, but that shows trees instead of 6th Street housing. Like,
Yeah.
they've just put in the
Okay.
graphics. So this is only basically showing the equipment.
All right. Got it. It's a little La La Land like, but thank you.
Right, so that fencing, so that's not the proposed fencing.
No, I just, my question is more sided with stirring the pot a bit. There's a lot of activity going on over there. A lot. It looks great. I'm just looking at what we've seen a PPR do at other sites that doesn't have as many active, playful equipment, exciting type of equipment. It's a question of equity. No, it's nice. Okay. Part of it is city and part of it's fundraise fund.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, so there's a $350,000 grant from DCNR, and the community itself is putting in $30,000.
DCNR being.
The
I'm sorry, I'm in a
conservation, the
presentation, I'm
conservation.
blanking, it's something I should know. DCNR is
Anyone?
Francesco?
Is it the
Conservation of
park
Natural,
Natural conservation.
resources?
right,
Good morning.
Yeah.
Francesco Cerrai, Project Director for Capital Program Office, Parks and Recreation, Department of Conservation and Natural Resources. The acronym is DCNR, and it's the state of Pennsylvania.
Oh, great. So,
Grants.
in other communities, are they disseminating some of the dollars in those recreational playground areas in North Philly and South Philly and West Philly? Think you know where I'm going?
Well, the request for grants comes from council members and from the Parks and Recreation Department that decide where to request funding for projects. This, we had to mention, is the first playground that was built in the city of Philadelphia. It's the oldest, and has been neglected for many years. Has a big surface, and There's a lot of space and we're replacing the equipment. It's been there for a long
Across from
time.
Mother Bethel, yeah.
Yeah.
So the-
Just,
so-
how many other projects in other parts of the city have you submitted, council people have submitted, applications for funding? Or is this one of the first ones?
No, no,
And there's
there
more-
are
there's more.
continuously, especially now that Parks and Recreation is a grant manager.
Mhm.
They're submitting not only the CNR, which are there in review now for a March application. They have 16 different projects they are reviewing. There are also LSA, local share account, city and statewide, for
Yeah,
which
we-
they applied
Assisted,
November and January. Yes.
So where I'm going with this is you guys will be seeking funds from that source for other projects in North Philly and West Philly and
Definitely.
some
Well,
other-
so I want to interject here that DCNR fund grant submission was fully done by the community. The community was the only one that did that submission.
Okay.
We helped them with the documentation, but they were driven to get that grant.
Great,
Yeah,
thank you.
just to interrupt, sorry, we did that with Roosevelt, all the way in South Roosevelt Park,
Mhm.
a long time ago. Yeah,
Everyone has access to that.
yeah, the Friends of the Park did
Process.
request money.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other comments? I do have a comment. So the lighting part, that's my issue because I used to play soccer there and we used to finish at night and it's dark, still dark. And you say a future, why not now? Why don't you plan to put the lights? That area, the entire area where the playground is dark. You're saying that there's gonna be a future? Did I misunderstood
Conduit.
you?
Yeah, so we're putting the conduit in for that to happen. So that we, in this phase, we are actually installing a portion of that.
When would that be happening in the future?
That's, I'm not sure.
That's the
there's
thing.
not-
Is it not part of this proposal at all?
I'm sorry?
It's not part of this proposal at all, that lighting?
Lighting installation is not part of this phase. But in anticipation of not wanting to disturb any of the improvements we're doing now, we wanted to put that conduit in place.
Yeah, it's common for us in government to add, when you're disturbing a surface, conduits for future use, whether it's, in this case, lighting, whether it's an educational site where later they might want to put touchscreen panels all kind of things like that. It's better when you're disturbing the surfaces, to put this in now, you're getting it at a lower cost. And then when funds become available for another phase, which might be for enhanced lighting to do that, so.
No,
It's-
I understand all that.
Mhm.
It's just the thing, we did request that where it came to us first. What will be the lighting and now is it because money? It's just,
Well, my
That's the
question
question.
would be, is the lighting that is in this package adequate? Even though you're looking for something more with the conduit, is what's here adequate for the playground now?
I'm not sure. I think it is, like I said, there's the one image that shows that there's a spotlight showing in underneath the canopies of the trees from Rodman Street. I think that may have been added at some point. And part of the process of this construction is we're going to be taking out a lot of trees.
Mm.
A lot of trees. And I'm hoping that might help allow more of the ambient light from around to enter
yeah,
into the site.
the trees definitely I love trees, don't take me wrong. It does take the lighting off from the street because the light on the street is
Mhm.
is good, but now the trees is really blocked. All right. I don't want to hold the project, that's the thing.
Can I add another?
Sure, please.
Like Marcus said, the limited funding doesn't allow this time, this phase, the lighting, but we'll be looking for additional funding to add lights. And this site has a gate, it's gonna be locked at night. So it's another.
What happened with the soccer players?
The
We're
red
not allowed to
side.
use the soccer field anymore. I guess, don't say it, don't mention my name, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, a lot of people use the field because on that area of the side, the lighting from the street is enough for us to play at least for an hour or two. Yeah. All right. Any public comments? Can I have a motion then, if you don't have any more comments?
Motion.
One second.
Second, sure.
All right. So it's gonna be a roll call.
Okay. We have a motion for final approval of the Star Garden Playground improvements. Commissioner Matthew,
Approved.
Commissioner James,
Approved.
Commissioner Rebecca,
Approved.
Commissioner Carmen,
Approve.
and Commissioner Reyes.
Approved.
Okay. Unanimous support, so final approval is granted.
Oh, actually, just clarifying question. So I'm seeing this letter at the end that says this qualifies for percent for art. Do we have a timeline of when that's planning on coming before us? It's separate from them, what we just watched.
The letter says the timeline has not been,
Say it again.
the letter specifies that the
Oh, okay,
timeline
maybe I-
has not been worked out yet.
Oh, thanks, Carmen. All right.
Creative Philadelphia will
Yeah.
come back.
Yeah, we will review that separately, so.
Good morning,
Morning.
Commissioners. How you doing? Y'all hear me all right? Okay. So my name is Miguel Horn. I'm representing the design team for the Miller Parker Philadelphia Stars Negro League Memorial Park, located at Belmont Avenue and Parkside. I will be joined virtually by team member Adria Longendorfer and the Business Association of West Parkside, who we can reach via comments at the end. We were originally here in March and September of 2023 for the committee who is not familiar with this. I'm just going to do a quick kind of overview of what was proposed and how the artwork that's being proposed today fits in with that. So the beginning, these original letters are from the concept approval and final approval of a mural wall, which is part of the park improvements. So for some context here, you can see Belmont Avenue and Parkside Avenue, Belmont running vertically and Parkside on this diagonal. And the area of interest selected is where the current parklet is, Pocket Park. And for some history, the site was previously where the Philadelphia Stars played baseball at what was called Penmar Park. It was originally the athletic fields for the Pennsylvania Railroad site, which was there at this location. You can see this kind of overhead view. And the ballpark is this kind of diamond shape you can see with a somewhat slanted outfield wall and some historical images of the ball field here at Belmont and Parkside. So this park, where it originally was a turning lane, and about 20 years ago, the design team, the Business Association West Parkside, motivated a community and support from the Philadelphia Phillies members of the Phillies. There were actually 5 members of the Philadelphia Stars that were there for the renovation and the formation of this park. And these are some current conditions of what that park was designed to be. And at the center of this, you can see again that baseball diamond, which was incorporated into the park design to reference the original use of this field. And that falls into play of our design, so I just wanted to point that out to you. The other thing I'd like to note is the boundary of the park on the north side, which is the lower part of this image, is the area focus where I'll be presenting today. And just for, again, some context, the current conditions, about 5 years ago, there was a tragic accident at this site where a vehicle lost control and passed into the park, and tragically, a resident lost their life. And as you can see, some of the improvements that were done 20 years ago, some grade lighting, landscape and seating elements, the fence, the cedar fence at the back, they could use some love and some attention. So the Business Association of West Parkside engaged Digsaw to conceive of proposed improvements for this park. Simultaneously, the mural that is opposite this park, honoring the Philadelphia Stars, was needing some attention and some repair. And since that building that housed it has been demolished, actually recently, so that mural has been removed. So this momentum to renovate the park and combine the mural from across the street with the park improvements led to the development of this new kind of border perimeter of the park, which would include an outfield wall of this baseball diamond. So at the lower portion, you see that outfield wall, which is rendered here as with a mural on it. This is not an accurate presentation, but that is going to be a separate presentation by Mural Arts. That's not what I'm presenting on before. But what I'm presenting on is in connection to that work, which is represented here as Phase 1A. So the improvements that are going on, again, as in phases, Phase 1A is going to be this kind of perimeter of the park. And, Phase 1B is not my scope. That's through Digsaw, but the whole concept of the park got concept approval in September 2023. And we were asked to come back with more details about Phase 1A. So why I'm here with you today. Tragically, shortly after the project was approved in September, we lost one of the driving members of our team, Mr. Miller Parker. And, in his passing as a team, we've all recommitted to this and continued to push this forward. So I just want to acknowledge all the work that came before us and what's gotten us to this place. So some of these proposed improvements are, part of Phase 1B, but just to kind of give you some context of the park and how they all fit within it. So if you think, when I was asked to join this project about 4 years ago, Digsaw mentioned that they wanted to renovate this park fence. And I was asked to consider what I would come up with as kind of like an art screen installation. If I back up a little bit to this overhead view, you can see if that outfield wall, represents the kind of perimeter of the baseball field. I saw this fence as an extension of it, which would be a representation of, the rest of the stadium, the audience. The field, is not only about the athletes and the players that are in there, but also the community that supported them. I thought it'd be really interesting to recognize that as part of this park, and think about, the history of this location, the history of this community. And I thought that would be a really great theme to focus on. So you can see those kind of silhouettes of people with their arms raised as, whether it would be an audience cheering on the team or cheering on the players. I thought it'd be really interesting to think about, how we can memorialize those individuals in this community. So if I skip back forward, in 2024, as part of a residency that I was in with Monument Lab, I hosted a whole bunch of youth-centered engagement programs where I looked at the history of Parkside. My studio is actually a block from this site. There's 3 schools: DCS, which borders the park, Discovery Charter School, Belmont Inquiry Charter, KIPP, So, you know, this is legacy that I wanted to bring to these programs. These were, you know, K through 8 schools. There's also, you know, high school with Belmont Inquiry Charter. So, you know, through my studio, I've done a lot of programs with youth in the area. And, you know, when I brought this project to them, I said, I would really love it if the community members of this neighborhood could be represented within this project, and that the silhouettes that we're creating are actually just, you know, images of this neighborhood. So I asked these kids, I said, wouldn't you love to be a part of this, you know, this frieze? How about we do this kind of program where we, you know, raise your hands up as if you're cheering for the team. They all just kind of looked at me like, man, this is boring. What do you? So fortunately, I teamed up with this this choreographer, this dance artist, Jamie Merwin. You can see on the left side, and she's a break dancer. She said, "Hey guys, all right, forget that. Why don't we do some breaking? I want to play some music. When you know, start dancing, start moving. When I stop the music, you want to freeze, and we're gonna take pictures. And you guys are gonna learn about how to operate a DSLR camera, and some of you are just gonna be having fun with your friends." And so they took turns lining up, learning how to take photographs, and then just dancing to the music that they wanted to dance to. And quickly just had a really engaging time. It was super fun. And, you know, you can see, you know, as different teams were kind of getting into it, they're just kind of striking their own poses. And then translated those images into simple cutouts through just black and white, you know, vectorization through Illustrator. And as a proof of concept, did this is an acrylic cutout, which was used for a fundraiser event with the business association. So these are actually kids from DCS, which is on the opposite side of the park. And in a dream scenario, I'd love to continue, you know, these silhouettes of the kids onto the fence that surrounds, you know, their school. And so I just want to give you a couple of views of what that would look like. These are the existing conditions. This is actually the border between the park and DCS. On the left, you can see that black fence that is, you know, where their property ends. And then this, you know, view on the right side of that fence is where ours would begin. So this is, there's 3 images here. Of each view, you're going to see the existing conditions, what was proposed in September 2023, and the current state of the design. So this was granted concept approval. You can see that there is all Core 10 construction, and we've adjusted the lower portion of the fence to be created out of a solid Core 10 panel with the silhouettes raising behind that and above. Kind of simplifying visually the border, but also offering us a 150-foot canvas to engage with, you know, embellishing with design, not only imagery from the Negro League teams, the team names, players, donor wall, etc. So this is, again, 3 views of, you know, that view. You can see that concrete outfield wall, which was given approval in September 2023, and how that kind of simplified panel system will also kind of, you know, close off a little bit the space. So this is being described as a screen art installation. It provides a clear barrier between the school behind it and the public use of this pocket park. It extends to a maximum height of about 9 feet, where the highest raised hands. And on this is, again, for some more context, on the rear side, that concrete wall was going to be, you know, potentially embellished with another mural with mural arts. But how this division actually acts as a 2-sided art installation, not only, you know, facing the pocket park and the use of that park, but also being visible on the other side for the students of the DCS community. And again, here's a couple more aerial views of the park. You can see the perimeter and the location of the fence. We're waiting on some survey information to find the exact perimeter line of this park, but we're going off of the approved plans that Digsaw developed. You can see Core 10 was part of the park plan for a lot of other elements. And so we're proposing to use Core 10 as the surface of this screen wall. And you can see some of the other different materials that are being used in the park. The proposed lighting locations that were presented during concept approval, and you can see where that fits in with the park and providing ambient light for the park. This is a structural design that I developed with a structural engineer for how the panel system could be modular for installation across the entire length of the 150 feet. So we're, thinking about wind load, shear strength, and how much we need to really lock this in. Again, we're going to be perforating the lower portion of that panel, so there will be more air permeability there. Or aerial view of how we would be actually allowing for the rotation, the curves. So there's going to be a inset sleeve, a 6x6 sleeve, where then the 4x4 posts could be grouted into, depending on that angle. And I just wanted to give some other, information about the surrounding area. The lower portion, you can see where the Negro League Memorial Park fits in with the West Fairmount Park complex. And the piece that is on the screen is a similar execution of art, which is laser cut steel that has been powder coated, but is at a 3/16 inch thick steel. The sample that is in front of you is actually what was created for the last time I was presenting about it's almost 10 years ago. And that sample has been sitting outside in the elements. So it has the Core 10, surface rust. But I also wanted to show how delicate you can get with that design while still maintaining a structural integrity to it. This is actually this is actually a project that was presented to the commission in 2017, I believe, in Jose Manuel Collazo Playground. And you can see how lettering can be done with, incredible precision with, laser cut panel at this thickness. Thank you.
Pre-COVID.
At this point, I'll turn it back over to the committee for any questions.
Right.
Remember that project? It's a really good project, yeah.
Yeah,
Commissioners?
I do have a
Okay.
question. Miguel, you presented this, how is the material going to age over time?
So weathering steel, or Core 10, is a steel-like material that has a core of zinc, which prevents the material from corroding entirely, right? So it prevents a protective layer on the outside of the material, this layer of oxidation, which we call like rust, is actually a protective layer, which seals the surface and will no longer corrode. So it won't pit through, it won't, continue to corrode past that surface layer of.
And color-wise, so initially it would be, sort of brown?
So they have, pre-oxidized Core 10, which is, I think, twice the price. But there are ways to accelerate the oxidation process with a muriatic acid, with, different chemicals which can accelerate it so that it goes from the typical, gray-black steel to the rust color. And so once it achieves that full surface of oxidation, it remains that way. And that's why I brought this panel in. I thought it'd be good to see that kind of variation of texture, of organic nature.
Thank you.
Yeah, I also echoed that question. Just because an appreciation of the method that you took with community engagement, I was wondering, are there going to be any labels that show, describe these sort of like silhouettes, or like that let, you know, onlookers and visitors know that this is the neighborhood that, you know, you're using for the figures that are along this sort of screen wall?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. You know, having one of the reasons why we moved away from the kind of slat wall construction was this panel system at the lower section allows us to embellish, you know, that entire length with not only historical information, but contextual information of, you know, this process of this team, what this place means, and you know, those that were involved in developing it. So I think it would be a really great place where we could actually, you know, speak about the work that was done with DCS. You know, I also worked with the Stripes program at Inquiry Charter to do a similar, you know, cutout workshop. So, you know, how we got to this point, I think, is also great. But, you know, my interest in this is also memorializing this community, as, you know, we're looking at a lot of change throughout West Philadelphia as neighborhoods, you know, start to develop in different ways. I wanted to make sure that this population, this youth, you know, can always look and see that there, you know, there was a place always for them there. And, you know, obviously there's older adults and there's still some residents that remember when the Stars played, you know, and I think that that's important, you know, and it's going to be some work to, we can't memorialize everybody, but, you know, minimally their silhouettes will remain. And I think that in the absence of having everybody's names, you know, having these cutouts, I think is something that can really speak to that.
So, yeah, amazing. Just clarifying, so you're saying the part on this center structure is where you could inscribe more contextual information, or are you saying along the screen wall?
On the screen wall, the lower section is actually so we have 150 feet of length.
Okay.
And currently there are some historical kind of markers along that fence wall that talk about the history of the Negro Leagues and the Philadelphia Stars. And so I think incorporating that into the design is where I see that falling.
A question about the panels, because you said I've seen where it's perforated and then not. So there's no more perforation. These are going to be solid.
Yeah, so the
bottom
original,
portion.
so the
Right.
slat wall construction that was proposed in March of 2023. This was the kind of stand-in that Digsaw presented, and I kind of just developed something to connect off of it. But I revisited that before coming to you because one, we priced it out, and it's an exorbitant amount of money to devote to something that is, I feel like can have a little bit more, oomph to it. And so, in consideration of costs and use, we went to this, more kind of solid structure.
But yeah, I think it actually looks nicer. It doesn't bring my eye down, to the slats. I get to see the silhouettes, which are wonderful. I was just curious what happens behind the silhouette. So is there a similar flat panel, almost like a sandwich?
So let me see if I can get to the. So this is the front view. So what you're seeing are two vertical posts that are the structures that support the load going into 3 foot by 18-inch. 16-inch sonotube. So one of the things we had to deal with here is the root structure of all the sycamores. So we wanted to have as few points to dig into the ground. So then we have 10-foot spans. So the horizontals are, the secondary structure. And then the panel is actually mounted to those horizontals. So from the front, you have a flat panel with the two 4x4 cross members, and those actually slot into these 3x3 tabs on the side, and then they're affixed to that mechanically. So this allows for some flexibility. We are not putting a secondary panel on the back side of that. So there will be the 3/16 panel and then 4x4 cross members. And then the sculptural silhouettes extend from the back side of that. So there's a setback of 4 inches from the front panel to the back side panel.
But those go into the ground too?
So the only thing going into the ground are these 4x4 vertical posts,
And those.
and then the panels get mounted to those. They
Kind of
just
right
kind of
back.
slot in.
Mhm.
Yeah. You can see it says there's a dap out at the bottom of the tube of the horizontal members where it can actually sit over the 3x3 pegs that are sticking out.
How far from the ground? 4, 6 inches, something like that?
So yeah, six, almost 7 inches. Those cross members go out, but the 5 foot almost goes directly to the ground. And another detail that I wanted to point out is we're going to have a kind of gravel section that is framing this to prevent any oxidation from kind of running over into the pavers in the park.
Last clarification. So, phase 1B imagery shows more of like this sort of oxidized material, and then I see these sculptures that are emerging out. And then in phase 1A, the image after that, it doesn't show that. So, are we still approving or looking at the sculptures that are emerging out, or are those being taken out of the plan now?
So those are taken out of this proposal.
All right, so being separated from, all right.
Yeah. So one of the main factors contributing to our presentation to you today is the All-Star Game is going to be in Philadelphia this year in July 15th, I think is All-Star Weekend. So we wanted to accelerate some of these improvements, and this is one of the things that we can accomplish within that time frame. So while I would love to sculpt those 7 3-dimensional figures, there's a limit to what I can do in the time that I have. And so we'll be coming back for phase 1B with further details about those.
Any more comments? Okay, I do, does the Memorial Park, do you know if they have a Friends Park organization? Most of the parks here has a Friend of the Park.
That's a good question. Not that I'm aware of. I think that it's been managed by the Business Association of West Parkside and invested partners. But
I'm asking because I'm afraid of vandalism. You know what I mean? People start putting stickers or painting thing on top, and nobody will go and clean it up. So if you say in the Business Association, okay, I guess that's one of the reasons I love Friends of the Park.
Mhm.
They try to keep the park clean.
yeah,
There's always vandalism, no matter where you are, there's gonna be somebody doing something wrong, something bad. So I'm just afraid that people will start putting stickers on those stuff, or putting a face somebody, you know what I mean?
yeah. So actually, when the accident occurred about 5 years ago, the city of Philadelphia was very proactive and actually handled the repairs to the granite that was destroyed at the statue at the site. And so as part of the public art, right, this screen art wall, I guess, would fall into a piece of public art for the city. But there is a maintenance crew that cleans the park and sweeps and maintains to a degree that I see it going on. I'm not sure. I don't have the details of who is in charge of that though. Sorry.
Any more comments?
What exactly are we voting on today?
Approving? It was supposed
Just
to be
the fence?
conceptual, but I don't see it. Why hold it to answer all the questions? How about public comments? Oh, go ahead, sir.
just wanted to make a comment. I think some years ago, I remember this being presented. My concern was the metal being light enough for somebody to break. After carrying it around, I don't think it'll break. It'll break. So that's one of the good things. I was going to recommend this as final.
Okay, we do have one
Okay,
raised
please,
hand.
thank you.
Okay, Ms. Weiss, you should be able to unmute.
I just have to say, nothing here screams park except for the sign that says it's a park. It's nothing but pavers, cement, and steel, and a couple of trees. A park is supposed to be a public green space for recreation, and it doesn't, it looks more like an improvement to a bus stop than it does a park. So I wish that we would be more conscious of preserving our important green spaces as parks. People need to see green spaces and not just cement and steel. And I'm sorry that anything that resembled a park has been basically removed. I don't see where it's necessary and where there couldn't be more greenery incorporated into the project.
Commentary? If I recall, when this first came up, we had our esteemed colleague, landscape architect, that mentioned about several of the trees and the plantings and so forth. And being that the project is split between 1A and 1B, and 1B is the Plaza Park area, let's see what they come up with greening up the 1B area. But as for 1A, which is the fenced area, that's why I would recommend it go forward as final. I think there's enough information for us to see that. There's one thing about that detail of the post going in and how it gets held in place so that it doesn't shake, that you guys could fix. But other than that,
And to clarify, we're reviewing the screen art installation only today. The park has been reviewed separately.
Good, so everybody's okay with the final approval?
Yeah, I motion for that.
All right, thank you.
second.
All right, thank you. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Okay. So we have, sorry, we just have to formalize it here. We have a motion from Dr. Matt and a second from Commissioner James for final approval. And Commissioner Matt,
Approved. Congratulations.
Commissioner James,
Approved. Thank you.
Commissioner Rebecca,
Approved.
Commissioner Carmen,
Approved.
and Commissioner Reyes.
Approved.
Okay. Unanimous approval for final approval. Thank you.
This one is on the. Oh, next one, there we go. This is gonna be a one.
You mean as is here?
No?
Eventually.
I've known her for, God, 16 years. Sometimes she doesn't have good point, I have to admit, but sometimes, there's all right.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having us this morning. Can you, no? Not good with these mics.
Thank you.
Is that okay? Okay. Good morning. My name is Kristen Lowry. I'm a landscape architect with Ground Reconsidered. We are here this morning to talk to you about the Parkside Games Track and Field at Chamonix project. I still can? Okay. I'll lean in a little bit more. This project has been developed in conjunction with Philadelphia Parks and Recreation, the Capital Program Office, and Rebuild. Just a overview and snapshot of a couple of key things about the project. It was initiated in 2019 to bring a track and field facility to West Park to serve the Overbrook neighborhood and surrounding communities. Maybe the most important thing to remember about this project is that second bullet there. The facility is really intended to bring these facilities to local high schools and community and neighboring groups that do not have access to facilities like this. And do know that the project team evaluated many sites, and there was a lot of study done to land at the Chamonix Field site. The project also supports the Parkside Evans Rec Center, and you can see in the inset the final project site is at Chamonix Field. The project has also gone through a comprehensive community engagement process. Since 2019, there have been 13 engagement meetings. There are many stakeholders, which are listed on the right-hand side of the slide. And throughout the time of those 13 meetings, which you can see sort of charted on a timeline here, the intent was to prioritize the needs of the user groups and stakeholders, come back to them, refine those, and understand really what the priorities of the project needed to be. So you can see the final, or the site, Chamonix Field. It is in West Fairmount Park, adjacent to the Winfield Heights neighborhood. It's located off Chamonix Drive, just north of Belmont Mansion Drive. The existing site is a man-made plateau that has informal playing fields that host youth soccer and youth and high school football practice. Because it's a man-made plateau, you can see the very steep slopes surrounding 3 sides of the site. And to the north is Chamonix Drive, and to the south is the Belmont Cross Country Trail. Shown here is a projected tree protection and demolition plan. In order to accommodate the size of the track and field complex, we will have to expand the man-made plateau. So it will extend to the east. There will be tree removals for this project, but we have Morris Arboretum on board, and they are conducting a tree assessment currently to make sure we document what is there and that the project will meet all the city codes and requirements for tree replacement. The project will remove a very small and informal trail called the Nursery Hill Trail, and it just minimally touches that trail to the south, the Belmont Cross Country Trail, and that will be replaced in kind as a part of the project. So as we go through the next set of slides, it's important to note that throughout that community engagement process, there were a lot of priorities identified for the project. And it's the project is taking on as many of those as it can, but do note that there is a list of add alternates to the project that we would love to take on should funding become available. And I'll highlight all of these things in the slides as we move forward. So to start, with the proposed project, some imagery. This is a bird's eye view of what the facility would look like. Again, to the top of the screen is Chamonix Drive, and the main entrance to the facility would be off of Chamonix Drive. And I like this image as a starting point because everyone wants to be warm and be at lacrosse practice in June right now. So we'll move forward from that. Taking a look at the overall site plan, again, the main entry for the project is off Chamonix Drive. Chamonix Drive has an informal drop-off area, which you can see to the top right. There's a very wide shoulder. The entry gate and drive is really pedestrian access and has a few ADA spots and would be for maintenance and emergency vehicles only. And you can see the multi-sport athletic field set within the 400-meter 8-lane track with associated field events at either end, surrounded by that asphalt access path. Also highlighted on this slide, which we'll talk about later, are the two locations where the project will deal with stormwater management. So in the lower left of the track, you see where the subsurface basin for the project will go. That will manage all of the stormwater. And to the south, where I said we would be minimally impacting the Belmont cross-country trail, is a very small area that will be a daylighted discharge area, but we don't anticipate that to take on very much water. So zooming into the track and the field complex, and to do just sort of like a walk around with specifics of what is proposed. In the center, we have the multi-sport athletic field. That field will be striped for high school soccer, high school football, and high school unified lacrosse. Outside of that is a PIAA 8-lane track with associated field events to the east, the long and triple jump, and to the west, the pole vault and high jump. Surrounding the track itself is a 4-foot high chain link fence to protect the athletes on the interior and spectators on the outside. And again, in the gray color, you can see is that access path, both for mostly for spectators and athletes, and minimally maintenance vehicles and emergency vehicles when they should need to access it. There are various places throughout the site where we've highlighted in blue waste receptacles for the project. And also you can see highlighted around the edge of the track would be the proposed lighting, but I have another slide that talks about that more specifically later. To highlight some of the furnishings that are included in the base scope of the project, we'll be utilizing PPR standard furnishings. There'll be a PPR standard signage package that goes along with the project that is in development currently. Again, those standard receptacles, bike racks, and then a drinking fountain and some of the players' benches that are located on the field for athletes. Also associated with the sports furnishings in the base scope of the project are the football goal posts, the soccer goals, and portable lacrosse goals. And for those field events located in the track area, the built elements for pole vault and the jumping events. And as mentioned earlier, so the project does have quite a few ad alternates that it would love to take on should funding become available. And this slide really highlights sort of two different things. In red are the ad alternates that the project is costing and would take on if funding allowed. Mainly those include an expanded lighting package. At the main entry, the ad alternates there would include an equipment storage and team changing building, in addition to 3 shipping containers for team storage. The field events have some accessory items that are being listed as ad alternates to the project. The scoreboard located on the right-hand side of the multi-sport field would also be an alternate for the project. And then just to highlight what is shown in blue are items that PPR is committed to bringing to the facility for these events. So currently, the project doesn't have permanent bleachers, but PPR has committed to bringing in temporary movable bleachers shown in blue at the top, as well as porta potties to serve as restroom facilities. These images highlight the items shown as ad alternates to the projects. A lot of accessories that go along with the field events for the track and field. And down below, the portable throwing events, which actually will take place offsite as they're not compatible with the synthetic turf. So in order to expand the man-made plateau to accommodate the track complex, we do have to expand it to the east, which means we'll need a retaining wall on the project, and that's highlighted on this side in bright pink. The retaining wall ranges from 5 to 25 feet in height. There were a lot of studies done to ensure that the placement of this facility east, west, north, south on the site, we're balancing, you know, thinking about a lot of factors and how to minimize the impacts of this wall. On top of that wall would be an 8-foot anti-climb fence with a double-sided mesh to ensure that folks cannot climb the fence there. This slide also highlights those stormwater facilities again at the lower left. Again, that's the subsurface basin and the daylighted discharge area down below. The image to the left speaks to sort of the look and feel of the wall. It's not the exact system we're using, but we're working with the civil engineering team. It would be something similar to this. And to talk about the lighting in a little bit more detail, the base scope of the project brings security lighting, so 8 30-foot high poles with cameras would be mounted around the field and complex. And then should funding become available, that would be expanded into 38 pedestrian height poles and 4 very high sports light poles to illuminate the field. So currently, the project does have a lot of ad alternates that, you know, hopefully if funding were to come available, we could include in the project. Further down the road, we would love the project to take on phase 2, which would include a restroom facility off of Chamonix Drive, and there's been some studies conducted to ensure, sort of proof that location across Chamonix Drive adjacent to the side path, and also bring in permanent seating in that second phase for the facility. And just to walk around the track and field in a couple of renderings here. Here we're at the east end of the track looking at the jumping field events. So that's your long and triple jump to the left-hand side with the main entry off to the right of the screen. Moving to the west side, this is a look at the pole vault pit and looking again north towards Chamonix Drive. And moving back down to the beginning of your 100-meter dash area and some folks running the hurdles along that length. On the left-hand side, you can see that 4-foot chain link fence. That's a safety precaution for athletes and spectators. And on the right-hand side, the synthetic turf sports field. Again, landing on that east end, taking a look at the football goal and soccer goal during lacrosse practice. And I'd like to land again here at the bird's eye view of the project. We're really anxious to talk to you all about this project. There's been a lot of studies to develop the project and land where we are today. But we'd like to take any questions you may all have. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for this proposal. I had to step out briefly, so I might have missed one of the descriptions here. But one of my questions is around why, or where the plans for the restrooms are in phase 1, because I see in phase 2, I don't know what number the slot, 19, I think it is. It shows phase 2 has the restroom called out, but I just was curious, are there going to be restrooms in phase 1 available?
Phase 1 does not include a permanent restroom facility. Phase 1 includes a commitment from PPR to bring in temporary restrooms for the events that are permitted at the site.
Okay. Do you know, I guess, at this stage, how long between phase 1 and 2 that'll be, or?
We do not know that timeline at this time.
Okay, no worries. Thanks.
James?
Curious about the phase two with the restrooms, wouldn't you want to put pipes down? You know, like if you're churning everything up, would that make sense? I guess it's not something you can do, or you might have to disrupt what you're doing here. Is it going to be on this?
It's actually, let me go
It would
back
be close
this
to the
slide.
road. Oh, okay. I was just curious.
There were studies, there have been a lot of studies to prove the location across on the Chamonix side
Okay.
path, but right now, due to the project budget, it's important to get the facility established so that
I missed that little square.
No,
before.
no, you're fine. The facilities are really needed by the users who need it, so that has been the priority of the project.
Yeah.
The pipes that probably are in Shelmont Drive are probably stormwater, and when you're talking about restrooms, you're talking about sanitary. So it would be a heavy lift to identify exactly where the sanitary lines are. They might have to go 2 or 3 football fields length to be able to accommodate them. So having temporary suffices it for now while they collect a couple more coins.
That is a great answer. I was going to say something similar. Hi, everybody. Julie Bush from Ground Reconsidered. So we have studied extensively restrooms, and you are correct that there is not piping in Chamonix now. We did septic testing, and across the street was the best area for future septic. So that is why it is across the street. Also, in the future, that a restroom in that location could serve multiple other sites within that vicinity.
Since it's across the street, then I'm just wondering, is there a crosswalk directly parallel to the park, or do they have to go down, up, and then around?
So there is a traffic study that is being done currently as part of a separate Parks and Rec project. And I imagine that when this happens, that yes, crosswalk,
Okay.
traffic calming, a number of other traffic-related things would happen.
Okay, so I'm all pro more fields. Seriously. I do see few things that it doesn't, I can't digest. Drop off, parking. How, I'm still trying to digest because the bus stop is probably all the way to the corner. There's not even a sidewalk to get to the point. What about storage? You know, where are you gonna place those? I mean, I don't know if we can expand that. I know money is tight. And I know I don't want to delay that because we need the field. But the phase two without dates, to me, is like, approve this and God save us for later. It's that kind of thing. I am all pro. I mean, parking, I mean, how can we do something and instead of having the grass, maybe have like a drop-off area, that way it doesn't interfere with the traffic? Because that could be dangerous to just have somebody dropping the kids and somebody not on their phone collapse. I don't know, I'm just looking at, that's my only concern. Bathrooms, yeah, those portables, well, they're fine for right now, but that's all.
Correct. There's not a parking facility associated directly with the project going in, but I will mention the shoulders which are not striped for parking. They're very wide. You would feel very safe walking along the shoulder and in the grass here adjacent to the road, which is why we wanted to include this photo, but it may not speak to that quite as much as we wanted it to. So while there isn't striped parking along Chamonix Drive for this, we do believe that it can act as an informal drop-off or informal parking. The main entry drive, while that drive is really only for maintenance and emergency vehicles and folks who need to utilize the accessible entries or accessible parking spots, could also be utilized as an informal drop-off. There will be coordination for larger events for bus parking to take place elsewhere in the park nearby. And there are also, if I go back to one of the initial slides, there are some larger parking lots nearby as well.
No, on the drop off, on the parking, I totally understand. Go back to, I think forward, I think, keep going. Oh, no. Okay, go. Do you see that green area when the entry is? Why not take that space to have those vehicles? I just don't, to be a drop-off area. The informal is, to me, it's not safe. Let's put it this way. If we can put some asphalt, remove some of the grass area, I'm just suggesting that way at least will be a little safer for everyone on the drop-off. What do you think, James?
No, I was going to point out all throughout the parks, when you look at where the ball fields are and so forth, our neighbors park right on the shoulder and the kids get out the car and go over to the field. And this is just.
But
very,
that
very
drive is
similar.
busy.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
telling you. Yeah.
I mean, even right out here on the parkway, there's ball fields and so forth. I think, this is a very good plan. Obviously, it's a great start. And they do have add alternates and some other ideas that are part of what they're sprinkling throughout. So I don't think this stops here. This is a heavy investment.
I hope.
Yeah, I'm sensitive to what you're saying, Chair, about the access and safety for people. I guess I wonder who's the primary users or audience at this park, and you mentioned larger events that where bus coordination could be, buses can be coordinated at certain stops. Is this a primarily events-driven field, or is it serving the nearby, I guess, community primarily? I think that might help.
Yes, it's serving the nearby communities and
Okay.
high schools, so there's a lot of practices that will actually take place here. And it's a PPR, it will be permitted through PPR and coordinated calendar schedules and whatnot, for practices, events, what have you.
Yeah, I appreciate that answer because I just I wrestle with encouraging vehicular like traffic and use in a park, and for sustainability reasons, for complete streets reasons. Like, it just, to me, I'm not sure about that. And I think if it's primarily locally like hyper local in terms of its use, then I don't necessarily know that I want to carve out more green space for parking. But I mean,
No, drop off. Like I said, I can care less much of it. I'm just to have at least two vehicles that, especially that they need to drop off people, because sometimes it could be, especially.
yeah, so I agree. I agree with, and that's part of what I really appreciate about what you said, is that if there are people who are coming from farther away, which might be like the minority of users, then a dedicated parking spot could ensure that that's not infringing upon the quality of the experience for the locals who are just walking to it. So I don't know that I would support a full on like parking lot near here, but like a drop off sign that indicates where. I think that would be actually great to see. And this map or this view of it is a good one to understand like what's possible. What can you clarify what those spaces up and to the right near the entrance are currently? Or I see them painted.
Yeah, the 3 spaces that
Yeah.
are located there are accessible. They're ADA spots.
Oh, ADA spots. Okay.
Perfect. Okay. 80, oh, perfect. That's
Yes, those are accommodated.
perfect. I didn't see that. Okay.
Thank you.
So that's the only cars who would be coming in there, no dropping off, picking up like in town.
Correct, no.
So that would be.
What about to the left of it though? I mean, I guess inside, once you get past it, I guess, is that even within your purview to like design and put like poles or blade signs or something that say parking or drop off, sorry?
Within, like inside the entry drive there, there's not enough space developed. Yeah, there's not, in order to to do something like that, we would be pushing that pavement much closer to Chamonix Drive and probably requiring a retaining wall. Right now, the general width of that path around the field is 12 feet. It's a little bit wider in that area to take on some of those temporary items that PPR is going to be bringing in. So some of the temporary bleachers, the temporary porta potties. If funding becomes available, I'll point to it in a second, but at the bottom of the entry drive would be hopefully an equipment and changing room and some of those storage units. They would.
Changing rooms and all that stuff. That's another thing.
So I'll just add that once we receive the parking study, I think that what we could do is see if there's a way to widen the median or the area on the side of the road a little bit into our site and then stripe it so that it's no parking, but that's the area that could be a drop off. So we're not adding hopefully a ton of budget to the phase 1 project, but we are able to accommodate, drop offs. We'll make sure, but we need to see the traffic study, I think.
Yeah, I think that's great
But
clarification.
maybe there's
Yeah.
a way that we could, figure it out.
I'm
So we
thinking of
hear
it
you.
as like in the curvature of the road where if you're going to like the airport where it's like, this is just for people being picked up or dropped off. It's not wide enough to sustain any kind of long-term parking. Yeah, that's kind of where my head's going. So that sounds great.
Good. Any other more questions? Oh, go ahead, sir.
Hi. I'm Karen Meadow. I'm from the Capital Program Office. I just wanted to clarify related to the traffic impact study. We are working to complete that, and there are some recommendations that are being made, and we are already in conversation with the Streets Department to put some of those, to continue to study those recommendations that they have made, and they're all the things that you guys have raised. So that will continue to be evaluated.
Thank you. Go ahead, please, Sam. Time is up.
As few of you might know, I'm an old West Philadelphia High School speed boy. And you didn't include West Philadelphia High School as one of those. You had
High school.
you had Overbrook. There's a rivalry between West Philly and Overbrook. And Overbrook has running areas, and when I was on the track team at West Philly, we had to run around the pavement of the high school. No, it's going to be beneficial for a lot of track. We used to go over to Bartram because they had a big track over there, but I see both schools and probably one or two from up in North Philadelphia. This is a plus.
I can speak to that too. So one of the primary stakeholders here is the school district. And so in the same way that Parks and Rec would be permitting this for users that approach them for field usage, the school district would be one of the users of this field, and they would be working in conjunction with Parks and Rec to identify what schools are you able to use it when. But to the original point, and if they're listed on the engagement slide, there were some key local neighborhood stakeholders that were engaged as part of the process.
Thank you.
So it is going to be gated, is that right?
It is. I didn't mention that. There's the 4-foot fence around the track, and then there's an 8-foot chain link fence around the entire property. Apologies.
All right. Because I do see lights, so they will be practicing till probably 9. Okay.
Informal.
Any other question, comments, public comments?
Could we push this for final since it's?
You don't want to see the traffic, so we just have to.
Phase,
I'm fine.
It looks like they're going to do phase 2, and that's going to have a sense of parking about that.
Sounds good. How does everybody feel about it?
So the motion would be for final approval for phase 1.
That way they get to work.
Yeah.
All right. Motion for final approval.
Motion for final?
Second.
All right, roll call.
Okay, we have a motion for final approval for the Parkside Game Track and Field at Chamonix. Commissioner Matthew,
Yeah, approved for phase one.
Commissioner James,
Approved for phase one also.
okay. Commissioner Rebecca,
Same, approved, phase one.
Commissioner Carmen,
Approve phase one.
and Commissioner Rayed.
Approved for phase one and looking forward to phase two. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Clapping for the beginning of the third. The Moke, Jeffrey.
Feel like I'm drinking coffee on myself. Still tons of.
I came in with tea, so.
Advance with the, but this is at the down button. Oh, they are taking a break.
We're just going to take a brief break before we get started with our final item.
All right. Good afternoon, commissioners. I'm Marguerite Anglin, Public Art Director with Creative Philadelphia. Today, I am excited to present a proposal on behalf of the City of Philadelphia to relocate the Joe Frazier statue from Stateside Live, formerly Xfinity Live, in South Philadelphia to the Philadelphia Museum of Art. This proposal is in partnership with family members of Joe Frazier, the Smokin' Joe Frazier Championship Foundation, Johan Promotions, and the artist Stephen Lane. This proposal also comes with full and overwhelming support from Mayor Sherelle Parker, Philadelphia Parks and Recreation, Philadelphia Visitor Center, Parkway Council, the Philadelphia Museum of Art, many elected leaders in our city council, and those at state levels, and countless Philadelphians. This initiative is part of a broader strategy to reanimate Philadelphia's existing public artworks, making them more visible, meaningful, and alive in ways that people can connect with today. In this case, we do so by amplifying the story of a real Philadelphian, world heavyweight champion Smokin' Joe Frazier, whose lived legacy inspired a global cultural symbol and impacted the world with his heart. I'm happy to be joined by several important people, including Val Gay, our Chief Cultural Officer and Executive Director of Creative Philadelphia, who's online, Joe Frazier's daughter, Mrs. Jacqueline Frazier Lyde, and artist Stephen Lane, who will all share remarks during this presentation. To start us off, I will invite Val Gay to share some words from our mayor, if she can be unmuted. Awesome.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
From the Mayor of Philadelphia. As Mayor of the City of Philadelphia, I am proud to express my strong support for the proposed relocation of the Joe Frazier statue to the Philadelphia Art Museum. Joe Frazier is one of Philadelphia's most accomplished and beloved sons. As an Olympic gold medalist, world heavyweight champion, and lifelong advocate for young people in our city, his legacy reflects the values Philadelphia holds dear: perseverance, hard work, and the belief that greatness can emerge from humble beginnings. The statue honors Frazier at a defining moment in sports history while recognizing his broader impact far beyond the boxing ring. The Art Museum steps are a global symbol of aspiration and determination. What is less widely known is Joe Frazier's real and documented connection to this site, where he trained regularly running up the steps that later inspired the Rocky character. The relocation of the Rocky statue provides a timely opportunity to more fully tell the story of this iconic location. Placing Joe Frazier's statue at the Art Museum affirms Philadelphia's commitment to honoring real-life achievement alongside cultural mythology. Together, these figures reflect the city's spirit where determination, resilience, and opportunity meet. This more visible location for the Frazier statue will deepen public understanding, strengthen civic pride, and ensure that Philadelphia continues to celebrate those who shaped its history through lived experience. For these reasons, I give my unwavering support on behalf of the City of Philadelphia for relocating the Joe Frazier statue to the Art Museum. Thank you, Commissioners, for your consideration and for all you do in stewardship of our city's public realm. Sincerely, Sherelle L. Parker, Mayor, City of Philadelphia. Thank you.
Thank you, Val. I'll start by sharing some brief history about Joe Frazier for those who may not be familiar with his story, and I'll actually be reading mostly from the plaque that's on his statue. Born in Beaufort, South Carolina, Joe Frazier moved to Philadelphia as a young teen to work and train as a boxer. Known for his devastating left hook, he won the Olympic gold medal in the heavyweight division in Tokyo before turning professional. His nickname, Smokin' Joe, was developed by his trainer, Yancey Durham. His Hall of Fame career included the title for multiple years as the undisputed, undefeated world heavyweight champion. His professional record was 32-4-1 with 27 knockouts. He was the first boxer ever to defeat Muhammad Ali in the world-famous Fight of the Century. And at the peak of his career, he was one of the most recognized international sports figures. In addition to his boxing career, Joe Frazier embraced his roles as father, mentor, and humanitarian. He embodied all of the qualities of a Philadelphia fighter. He founded Joe Frazier's Gym on North Broad Street, where he mentored Philadelphia's youth and local boxers for 40 years. His approach to life was captured in his favorite saying, "Get the job done." At this time, I'd like to invite Joe Frazier's daughter, the former 5-time boxing champion and 6-time Sports Hall of Famer, Sister Smoke, Jacqueline Frazier Lyde, to share some remarks.
Six bouts, 20 knockouts, the heavyweight champion of the world, Joe Frazier.
Well, peace and blessings, everyone. Happy Black History Month and happy 250th anniversary of our nation. My name is Jacqueline Frazier Lyde. Greetings to Catherine Liss and the members of the Philadelphia Art Commission. As mentioned, I'm a former 5-time champion boxer and daughter of Smokin' Joe Frazier. And I am so happy and delighted to be a part of asking for your support to relocate my dad's statue to the Philadelphia Art Museum. I am the founder of the Smokin' Joe Frazier Championship Foundation, and I have here some of our board members, our former police commissioner, boxing commissioner, Jimmy J. Benz, who was a member of Joe Frazier's Gym. Also, he was, as you can see, he is a current highway patrol police officer. Also, Pete Lyde, my husband, who is the CEO of the foundation, Lori Smith, who is our vice president, and Secretary John Joseph Lyde. Sam Staten Jr. was here. He had to leave. He's with the Laborers Local 332. So I extend my heartfelt thank you to each and every one of you and our sculptor, Stephen Lane, and all the building construction trades. My husband is a member of the 332 who not only helped build a lot of these great buildings, but they helped build people, and my father was a part of that. So I just thank again the mayor, and I just wanted to thank Val and as well Marguerite for their hard work and helping this presentation. So I just wanted to say that just starting, that one of my great friends mentioned that she was a little disappointed that my father's statue doesn't have his arms raised in a victorious pose. But I shared that the statue depicts Joe Frazier at the fight of the century after delivering the most famous left hook in boxing history, where Joe Frazier keeps the World Heavyweight Championship title in Philadelphia. And so this is a time, the first time in history, where athletes in any sport were paid in the millions of dollars. So I recognize that as a labor milestone. So my father used to say, you can play football, you can play basketball, baseball, soccer, hockey, tennis, golf. My favorite is lacrosse. But he would say, you don't play fighting, you don't play boxing. And so he would always say, the best fight is the one that you didn't have. And that all boxers are special, and it takes real courage, time, conditioning, tenacity, talent, and technique to step into the boxing ring. He literally ran through the Fairmount Park, ending daily runs, the 5-mile cardiovascular run, sprinting, and in his run, sprinting up the Philadelphia Art Museum steps, wearing weighted boots, sprinting up at the end, and then finishing after doing that, will go to the Cross Brothers Meat Slaughterhouse and nonstop perpetual training, hitting sides of raw beef. And then that's how he went on to win 3 National Golden Gloves championships, and then a gold medal in the World Heavyweight title. Right here on the Parkway is where he ran. He also, have to say, transition life right there across from Eakins Oval. And my father would ask, as we drove around the art museum steps sometimes, he would say, you know, don't they understand that I'm the heavyweight champion, when people were taking pictures with the Sylvester Stallone statue? And unfortunately, my granddaughter still asks that question. So I just wanted to say that I love this statue that Stephen Lane made. I love the facial expression. He appears confident, at the ready for whatever comes next, powerfully pitched, standing on his toes as a humble, impossible, undersized champion of underestimated human potential. My father had many titles, awards, recognitions, and worldwide he was recognized, but he would mostly want people to know that he was one of God's men. And watching, him as when he was growing up, and because he was a teenage parent, he basically delivered performance of work ethic. So my daughter took a picture at the statue with her hands resting on her grandfather's left-handed glove. And it moved me to appreciate the example of everyday promising people, especially our parents, doing their best to provide and to protect with persevering faith and understanding in God. So my father's most famous left hook, as a lot of people do not know, is the result of a childhood disability and disfigurement when my grandparents Dolly and grandfather Reuben were financially unable to take my father to the hospital. So his work ethic, working through that, and his unrelenting will, guts, and perseverance turned a disability into the most famous left hook in boxing. So the statue is a reminder that with hard work, belief in God, that we can overcome any obstacle and achieve, appreciating the mightiness of whatever our limitations are, since we all have something to work on. So I thank you again, Stephen, for your genius work. And the statue offers an opportunity for people that come to our city for opportunity to accelerate and continue love for Philadelphia, the United States, and world goodwill through its arts and culture. I thank you so much for the opportunity to present.
Thank you, Jacqueline. The Joe Frazier statue was commissioned through a community-driven effort led by the late Joe Hand Sr. of Joe Hand Promotions, with support from the Cordish Group, the City of Philadelphia, and other stakeholders, including those from Philadelphia's boxing community. The statue was created by, as been mentioned, artist Stephen Lane in 2014 and installed at Stateside Live, which is formerly Xfinity Live in South Philadelphia in 2015. The statue is 12 feet tall, including its base, and depicts Joe Frazier at the height of his career in 1971 in the moments following his historic victory over Muhammad Ali in the fight of the century. At this time, I'd like to invite Stephen Lane to share some brief remarks.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me. When I set out to create the monument to the heavyweight champion, Smokin' Joe Frazier, I knew I needed to bring the full depth and history to the explosive instant of that knockout. So, an overly simplistic heroic pose would not do. In the true and nuanced narrative of heroism, surely we must include the burden overcome. Mr. Frazier showed by example that all of us thrive by way of each other. Throughout his life, he taught and shared his experience. In particular, he taught that action is the real thing. In his fortitude, he expressed the hero in every so-called common citizen who takes up their part in doing what needs to be done. This sculpture is meant to recognize the man and that burden that we all share, and the goodness that comes from working with and for each other. Thanks for your time.
That was beautiful. Thank you, Stephen. While many people resonate with the Rocky story, many Philadelphians and visitors don't know the real-life inspiration behind Rocky. World heavyweight champion Smokin' Joe Frazier inspired the Rocky movie character. Smokin' Joe Frazier, as Jacqueline said, worked at a slaughterhouse and trained by hitting frozen raw meat. Smokin' Joe Frazier regularly ran the Art Museum steps before the Rocky character did. Smokin' Joe Frazier faced opponents in real-life boxing, similar in physical appearance and personality to those the Rocky character faced. Joe Frazier's real-life discipline, grit, and work ethic was unmatched. From his humble beginnings to Olympic gold medalist, an undisputed world heavyweight champion, he was a fighter in and outside of the ring. His life and story embodies Philadelphia's fighting spirit. I'd like to share why we believe the Joe Frazier statue belongs at the Philadelphia Museum of Art. First, as I mentioned, this project is part of our strategy to reanimate the city's public artworks, bring them into civic discourse as a platform for education, storytelling, and dialogue. Second, Joe Frazier embodied Philadelphia's fighting spirit through his determination, resilience, and perseverance, values he lived every day. And the Art Museum steps have become a symbol of that fighting spirit, in part because of Joe Frazier's training as a boxer. Joe Frazier's story is already connected to this place. He ran the steps before they became a movie icon. This is about honoring a real Philadelphian, a real legend, whose discipline and heart helped inspire one of our city's most recognizable cultural symbols. And visibility and context matter. While the sports complex is meaningful, it reaches a narrower audience. And many did not realize that we do have a statue of Joe Frazier. By placing his statue at the Art Museum, one of Philadelphia's most visible civic spaces, we ensure his history is widely seen, learned about, and engaged with at the scale it deserves. As we celebrate our 250th, visitors will come here seeking authentic stories about Philadelphia. Placing the Joe Frazier statue at the Art Museum allows us to share a more complete story about Philadelphia's spirit, one rooted in real people, real work, and real pride in this city. Finally, this is a unique opportunity for two statues in respectful dialogue. The Rocky character represents ideals we aspire to, but the world heavyweight champion, Smokin' Joe Frazier, embodied and achieved those ideals in real life. And Philadelphia is big enough to celebrate both the real life story of Joe Frazier and the myth of Rocky. And we're proud enough to do that. In other words, this is not a competition, it's a conversation. And public art can help us have those conversations. Here's a location plan of the Joe Frazier statue at the Art Museum, where we're proposing for it to go. And here's a closer aerial view of the statue site. The round base of the statue is approximately 7'6" wide. It's quite large, but it actually will work extremely well in the space. The space itself is curved as well, which will complement the round nature of the base. And the site, the width of it is 25 feet, so it leaves plenty of room around to circulate around the base of the statue. Also, a new base and foundation will be provided, and no other major changes to the site are anticipated. And we are fortunate that existing lighting is already provided via a directional spotlight that's mounted on a near street light. So here's a proposed rendering of the Joe Frazier statue at the Art Museum. As I mentioned, we will be providing a new base. The base will match the existing base in size, but we will be adding granite cladding to the base, which is really well in keeping with the other materials around the Art Museum. And then the plaque, which has Joe Frazier's detailed life story, will be reinstalled on the front of the base. Here's a nighttime view of the statue. As I mentioned, we are well positioned with existing lighting. And as I've stated, this proposal reflects a broader strategy. We really want to reanimate our public artworks in Philadelphia. Despite Joe Frazier's global impact, as I mentioned, many Philadelphians and visitors are unaware that the statue exists and about Joe Frazier's story. So through educational components, we can provide deeper context around Joe Frazier's life, achievements, impact, globally and locally and globally, so visitors understand who he was and his legacy today. Through storytelling, we can connect to his lived experience to this place. Through programming, we activate the site and we invite ongoing engagement through public talks, youth engagement, and cultural moments that will invite people to keep coming back, to return, reflect, and participate. Through dialogue, we create space to reflect on who Joe Frazier was and his legacy. Also, who do we celebrate in our public art? What do we elevate through public art, and how that shapes our sense of civic pride? And lastly, through community and civic partnerships, this is how we will ensure that this is sustained and that this is inclusive. And on the last slide here, we anticipate relocating the Joe Frazier statue with your approval in spring 2026. That would take place after the Rocky statue goes inside the museum for the exhibition, leaving the site open for and available for the Frazier statue installation. And with that, we thank you very much.
Margaret, thank you. Thank you so much. A very nice presentation. Do you guys have a QR code currently? Because remember, the Art Museum is visited by people from around the world, and currently at the stadium, not many people is, So do you have a QR code with different languages or no?
You're reading our mind. We, working with his family, we would like to develop some, potentially some additional interpretive language that would have a QR code, and so that people can learn more. What we want is for people to desire to learn more and then immediately have a place to go to do that. And so we would have a QR code that would provide opportunity for other languages and more context around his story, and also the importance of boxing, which I've learned a lot through this process, and just the importance of boxing in the history in Philadelphia is so huge. It's something I didn't personally know, and I think that visitors would really be excited to learn about that.
Thank you. Commissioners? I got your question. Sorry, I didn't mean to steal it from you. None, if we can agree, if Margaret can tell us that, send us back, this is where it's gonna go, and I think we should be okay. But let's say how everybody else feels about it. Go ahead. Anybody else?
I was just gonna say, it's timely.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so agreed. I have a lot of thoughts about this, and I want to say I think this proposal is brilliantly timely. It's historic, it's deeply empathetic, and while Joe Frazier was a legend. Joe Frazier was a legendary Philadelphian that I think, it's so much so that it inspired myths beyond his own lifetime. And while we've done a great job of celebrating the myths that have spawned from this, we've not done as great with acknowledging history. And so I think this is an amazing opportunity for us to, stage a sort of reunion of that myth and the history, and allow for the origin story to actually be in dialogue with its offspring. And so I feel with the placement of it at the sort of base of the museum, in one sense, it's responding to the fact that it's been a footnote and almost creating it as a type of footstool for people to decide, if everyday Philadelphians, if they want to ascend up the steps and reenact, or the ritual of that Joe Frazier invented and was created into a broader story. Or they can continue being great in their everyday life. But it's a really important moment. One thing that I realize has been an ongoing conversation about whether these types of representative statues are art or not. And I want to say, I'm thinking of a musician who said that art is what we make when we turn scars into beauty. And I feel like this sort of reunion is an opportunity for us all to go on a journey of healing and of pride in moments where our public art hasn't reflected the broader hidden histories of our city. And so I'm really happy that this is coming before us. And I just hope that, as we decide on this, that we know that this is a reminder to people that Philadelphia is a city that wants to protect its most powerful icons of power and of pride. And so I want to say I would love to vote for this, and I don't really have any notes, honestly.
Thank you, Dr. Matt.
Well said.
I would like to echo, I love the idea of reunion that you say, and what I love about, and it's timely that we've made space given last month, and what I love about the base of the steps, I immediately thought of it as an accessible place for human encounter and really intimacy with this figure, and most importantly, with his story. So I like that there's dialogue with both, and I really appreciate what Creative Philadelphia is doing and moving at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Rebecca.
Okay, so this, where I'm leading with this. So we do have a Rocky, what do you call it? A little bodega, not a bodega, what do you
The store. Yeah, I had a quick
So
one at that.
how we can integrate Joe Frazier on them too, and also while you're doing the the QR code, is it a way to design along the way pictures of him? That way people from all around the world know a little bit more of him by just, or maybe on the QR code, we can add pictures to that. If not, a real, yeah, correct. Something that people, get to know more about him.
So, I don't know if you're going to respond immediately to that, Marguerite, but I just want to remind, when we approved the move for Rocky, one of my sort of stipulations was that the Rocky statue's label gets reinterpreted to acknowledge its source. And so I feel like there's some opportunity in that, to link this proposal to move Joe Frazier's there, and it feels like a programmatic intervention more than like a spatial one to me. But I like where you're going with that like there's a lot of narrative work being done in that space to direct people's attention to Rocky and including the shuttle that is also attached to it. So I wonder when you're saying this, if this is more of a visitors and convention bureau type of intervention or perhaps the museum, but I like where we're going with that. I just want to double down that I think there's something possible there.
That we can do, because this is just like, just statue there and nothing else. I would love to see if we can integrate those two if possible. Do you think? Can it?
So I would actually like, I was going to invite Val to speak, but you want to say something? Absolutely.
Yeah, come on. So there's conversations about that already ongoing. So just to answer your question, so we want to maximize on Philadelphia benefiting. That's what we want. We want to draw people in and have them come here. That's what it's all about. And so we want to educate, we want to entertain, and we want to do everything we can to generate love for this city. And my father, Joe Frazier, how do you spell love? He spells it Money. So we want to generate a lot of that. I'm just keeping it 100%. That's one of the things that he really understood, that we want to do everything we can to help our city because we do have an issue of poverty. And to the extent that we can help our city 100%, that's where I come from, housing insecurity. So we're not leaving anything on the table. We bring in everything. Yes. Yes.
All right. Any more comments before I open to the public?
I think she said Val wanted to speak.
I just wanted to, Val, would you like to say any words?
Sure. Thank you so much. A couple of things. One, we are already in conversation, as Judge Jackie just talked about, with not only interpretive panels, but also about the educational component. And to your point, Dr. Matt, the community engagement piece. And so I've already started to have conversations with the curator for the Rising Up exhibition that will begin in April. And we're looking at ways to even begin the conversation between these two statues and if you will, the real life and the myth, if you will, and how they can be informing the plaque and other educational components. And so we're really grateful to hear your questions because we have already been thinking about those issues, and we look forward to diving in even deeper into those issues and making sure that public art, as Marguerite said, that we are really executing our strategy to bring public art into civic discourse and to use art, if you will, as a way to better engage the general public, to educate, and to really amplify our society writ large. Thank you.
Thanks, Val.
Thank you, Val. So, public comments? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Before we do that, I mean, once again, I think that another opportunity is to engage these stories with the realities of the art museum and maximize their benefit because of their location and their relationship with the art museum. I've said it before, but requires underlining.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a few hands raised today.
2 minutes.
Gabrielle, you should be able to unmute at this time.
Yes, hello. My name is Gabrielle Gibson. I'm the granddaughter of Smokin' Joe Frazier. Apologies for not attending in person, but it is great to hear the push for my family's legacy and hear my Aunt Jackie's passion for what a good move this would make. I also had the honor of viewing the statue near completion and met Stephen Lane before its current placement. So I'm also glad to hear his support of the movement as well. So during Black History Month, I think we need to understand the new placement. A real boxer and a Black man's image and likeness would be placed at a lower position beneath a fictional white character whose story was inspired by real boxers. If the statue is to be relocated, whether temporarily or permanently, do we think it should be placed at the top of the museum steps or would the bottom be okay? The history of the steps is well established to those that know about it, and they aren't the Rocky steps. They are the Smokin' Joe Frazier steps. So thank you for your time.
Thank you for that comment. I love everything that you said and agree with everything that you said. The exciting thing is we get, when visitors come to the art museum, they're going to see Joe Frazier first. They're going to encounter Joe Frazier statue first at the base of those steps. And they'll have an opportunity to be grounded in the history. And I love how Dr. Matt said on the origin story, before they encounter the Rocky statue. And even those who may be coming from out of the country and maybe they're coming there to see Rocky, they're going to encounter Joe Frazier first with him at the bottom of the steps. And so we thought about that, and we're really excited about putting him in that place so that he can be encountered in that way. And then we're also excited to see the two statues in dialogue. We think that that's the origin story should come first, and then people will be able to get more context around the significance that he contributed to culturally in inspiring the Rocky statue. We're also placing the statue, just frankly, where it works best physically, and in keeping with this design. Rocky, the Rocky statue is half the size of the footprint of the Frazier statue, and so it's positioned at the top of the steps, allowing for better circulation around it. We had multiple kind of meetings where we came to the Art Commission, and there was concern about people having enough room at the top of the steps, and we pushed it back. But there's only so much we can push it back before we get into some logistical issues and even code issues. So it would be actually not as safe or feasible to put the Frazier statue at the top. And also, we love the idea of people encountering him first. But we really appreciate your comments and completely agree with everything that you said.
Thank you. Our next commenter is Joe. You should be able to unmute at this time.
Good morning. I am, thank you very much. I am Joe Hand Jr. I am the current president of Joe Hand Promotions. We are a 54-year-old Philadelphia company. And my father started this business 54 years ago when he started his relationship with the Frazier family through the Clover Lake Corporation, which was the group of Philadelphians that had invested in this company to back and help guide Joe through his professional career. Quite honestly, there would be no Joe Hand Promotions without Joe Frazier, and my dad had just a special relationship with Joe, and I try to continue that relationship with Jackie and Pete and Marvis and the Frazier family. And when I was told that the statue was possibly going to be relocated to the art museum, I couldn't help but think about what my dad would have thought about all that. My dad passed away a few summers ago, and I think today, if he was here and he could speak, I think what he would say is that in his life, he had the opportunity to meet a lot of professional athletes. He was close friends with Steve Carlton, Billy Cunningham, Mike Schmidt, and those are all Hall of Fame Philadelphia athletes for us. But Joe Frazier stood out. above all of them because of the person and the athlete that Joe was. My father always said that Joe was not the most talented fighter. Ali probably in a lot of people's eyes was thought to be, a better boxer. But that my dad always believed that Joe had such a big heart, that there's never been an athlete that my dad has known or seen that had a bigger heart than Joe Frazier. And I think that that's true. And I think the thing about it is that that's what I believe people think about Philadelphians. And I can't help but think about a few years ago in 2018 when I watched the Eagles parade and Jason Kelsey standing on, the steps of the art museum in the mummers dressing. And he tells us the story about how no one gave Philadelphia Eagles a chance to win that Super Bowl, and they were the underdogs, and that he always believed that hungry dogs run faster. We all remember that famous quote, and that's what Joe Frazier, represented, and what he represents, I think, about Philadelphia. We live in such a special town.
Joe, I'm gonna ask you to wrap it up. Sorry.
Sorry. Okay. I just want to say that, the Hand family, Joe Hand Promotions, and in my dad's memory, we absolutely support the move to the base of the art museum, and we encourage the commissioners today to approve it. Thank you very much.
Okay, the next hand raised is Judith Robinson.
Good afternoon. Good day. Wow. Congratulations to the Frazier family, to Philadelphia, all of Philadelphia and the world. You all, I know I have telepathic power, but I had no idea when I came to this board meeting in December that this was all going on. So I'm just so happy today. And I hope this is a permanent statue at the art museum area. That idea about the money and the store, I second that. We need to make sure that we have swag in the name of Joe Frazier, and the different languages with the QR code is also another great idea. In addition, the dialogues. Yes, please, programming, that's programming. And we said at the December meeting, North to the world. We're in North Philly, you all. We're so proud of Joe Frazier, the gym, the boxing trail, all of that. We definitely will be having dialogues because I'm also a member of the art museum. And if millions of people are coming to the steps, we do have to figure out a way for them to walk through those doors and be edutained, entertained, and we can all work on that. We can do all of those things, bring bodies into the museum. So I'm so proud today that this is going on. I'm proud of Philadelphia today. I really am. I'm going to have a little celebration. I'm going to reach out to the Frazier Foundation. I would like to be of help in any way I can with my boys. Okay. So thank you all so much. Congratulations, everyone. I'm just so happy today. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Judith.
Thank you. Our next commenter is Michael Gallagher. You should be able to unmute yourself at this time. Michael, you should be able to speak at this time. Okay. We are not able to hear you at this time, so we're going to move to Brittany. You should be able to speak.
Hi, how is everybody? How's everybody doing today?
Good.
Good, thank you. My name is Brittany Frisbee Warren. I am as well a granddaughter of Joe Frazier. I just want to say that this is amazing with everything that is going on. It is great to hear that he is going to be acknowledged in a way that he should be. I just wanted to ask a question as to, is there a way, or why is there the statue being moved? Is there a way that there can be another statue created? Just because of where it is right now, with him being a prominent and a big athlete, being near the sports complex is a great thing. You know, our Aunt Wita, you know, that also helped with the creation of the statue and everything like that. She had it placed there for a reason. And we truly believe that it's because of the fact that you have all the sports teams right there. And it is a big place that a lot of people do come to, as well as a tourist site too, that it can be, especially with the Cup coming, excuse me, in the summertime. Is there a way to possibly make another statue to also have in front of the museum as well as the sports complex?
Brittany, thank you so much for your question. And I agree. I just want to make sure I'm understanding. Are you suggesting that you're not suggesting that instead of putting him at the art museum, I just want to clarify. You're saying once Joe Frazier statue leaves Stateside Live, what's going back at Stateside Live?
So no, is there a possibility to keep where he's at Stateside Live and then also have another statue in front of the art museum?
Sure. Well, yes, that's a good question. The reason why we're doing this, Brittany, is, you know, one of the reasons that is important to us is we want to activate our existing artworks. And, you know, frankly, many people are not as aware of your grandfather's statue in South Philadelphia, and putting him in dialogue and putting him at a more visible location as the art museum, where there's going to be many tourists there, will really give us an opportunity to amplify his story, make sure more people can see it, and really educate people about his impact on the city and on the world. And so we really want to do that with our existing artworks. And now, can additional artworks be created? Sure, you know, once fundraising and all of that comes into play, but we really would like to do this with the existing statue. And we really appreciate your very creative comments. And
Thank you.
I also wanted to, okay.
And Val, I see that your hand is raised as well. Did you wish to comment also?
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Casey. During the course of this presentation, we just received our formal letter of support from the Philadelphia Museum of Art, and I'd just like to read it very quickly. I am writing to express my support for the City of Philadelphia's broader initiative to honor the life and legacy of Joe Frazier through public art. As a lifelong Philadelphian and an internationally recognized athlete, Joe Frazier embodied values of determination, resilience, and authenticity that continue to resonate deeply with our city. Public art plays an essential role in shaping civic memory and celebrating individuals whose contributions extend beyond their professional achievements to reflect shared community values. Recognizing Joe Frazier through a prominent public art initiative aligns with the city's commitment to celebrating noteworthy citizens and presenting inclusive, meaningful narratives in our public spaces. While I defer to the city and its partners regarding specific details of proposed locations, design, considerations, and implementation, I am supportive of the overarching effort to elevate Joe Frazier's legacy in a manner that is thoughtful, educational, and reflective of Philadelphia's history and character. Thank you for the opportunity to share my perspective, and I appreciate the Art Commission's careful review of this important initiative. Sincerely, Dan Weiss, the George D. Widener Director and Chief Executive Officer of the Philadelphia Museum of Art. Thanks.
Thank you. I just want to make sure we did receive all the letters and comments that was sent to the board, to the commission, okay? Just want to make sure everybody know that. Yes, James.
Motion to accept this as final with a certain caveats.
Exactly. I was just gonna, with the caveat
I
of
have a list
a
of
QR code.
I have a list of caveats.
Do you want to mention
May
it,
I
please?
read them?
Thank you.
Okay.
Don't worry, he'll give you the list. It's more so about the reader rails so that they don't have to come back. Reader rails will stand no more than 12 inches above the fencing. Second is there's no blockage of the historic art museum building by the reader rails. Third, that the reader rails will include a QR code that includes historic validated information about Joe Frazier.
And other images.
In images. Fourth is the reader rails will be on metal stands, not concrete stands. And that the reader items are at a slope of no greater than 30%. Or degrees, sorry. And the final is that there's no more than 5 6-foot-long reader rails in that area. I'm looking at the slide that shows the fenced area. And I think if we have governance of those reader rails not affecting the building and give a certain amount of space, these, with the acceptance of the commissioners, set the ground rules for the reader rail display and interpretive information. That way, people, kids will be able to see the story, go to the QR codes, thinking of what we did at the president's house. We had reader rails as well. But basically, it tells the story right then and there, and then gives a little broader, maybe even some snippets on YouTube of some of the fights and the knockdown of a former.
That's great. We absolutely can do that.
Awesome.
Yep.
Good job. All right. Any more questions?
Just to clarify,
Go
so
ahead.
these were all new ideas that you were proposing as part of caveats for final approval?
That way they don't have to come back for the signage.
Okay,
So-
yeah, that I
Otherwise, it's
understand.
gonna be a conceptual review and bring up all our suggestions.
Okay, and then I'm looking at the image as well. You're talking about the reader rails. I'm looking at the height of it. It's about the height of the base of the statue, right? Like the new granite.
Perspective going on, but yeah, it's about 3 feet high.
Okay, yeah, because you were Commissioner James, you were mentioning like specific height levels and all that, and I'm like, what? So trying to make sure. All right, yeah, I agree with that.
So just to clarify, signage of the extent that you are discussing would come through the Signage Streetery Committee. So, so I think that we could note that that we're encouraging this interpretive signage that meets certain parameters, but with the understanding that it would not preclude the final approval for the relocation itself, as we would see the signage separately. Yep.
I'm just trying to kill two birds.
Is it
Trying to kill two
scientific? Because it's informative, if like, you know what I mean, it's, I'm not sure.
It depends on the scope of what, if he was talking about something that spans all of the fencing here, I think.
No, we would not span the entire fencing. And you're, Commissioner Jim, you're reading my mind and Val's mind as well. We've been talking about what we might do and appreciate the, you know, desire to allow us to move forward. We can get the statue in and all that. And so we won't have to be coming back for that approval. So, and no, we would not continuously have the rails. We would put them where likely on either side where there's enough information. And we would work very closely with Jackie and with her family, with the Fraser family, to make sure that that information was complete.
And the reason why I point this out, if you think about the Octavius Cotto exhibit on City Hall, and it has information that's more pillared-like, and it kind of obstructs some of the views of City Hall.
Right, yeah.
In this sense, by having these ground rules that these are the interpretive rails that give information about the honorary, in a sense, that there's some rules about the sizes of them and basically not blocking I think both can be achieved.
Right.
Interpretive information and not blocking the view shed of the historic building.
Absolutely. We would not want to do that
Catherine,
either.
do you want to see that later on as an administrative item, just as that way we can get the final and whatever they present as a administrative item? Is that possible?
I think they can submit those materials when finalized for staff level approval. I think that's totally appropriate.
Thank you.
At least the rules are there about.
Yes,
Okay.
that's perfect. That's great.
All right, now.
Well,
Yes.
Motion
No,
for-
no, no.
motion needs to be second.
Wait, let me call for a motion first. Let me see. what-
No,
No,
Made the
no.
motion, actually.
No, she has a comment.
not a comment. I was just seconding his proposal as a
Now,
motion.
can I get a motion for a final
Motion,
approval?
please, a motion for final approval.
I'll second that.
Awesome. Roll call, please.
Okay, so just to make sure that I have this accurately, we have a motion for final approval with the understanding that we will review the interpretive signage at staff level to ensure that it progresses expeditiously. And we have Commissioner Matthew,
Approved. Happy Black History Month.
Commissioner James,
Approved, thank you.
Commissioner Rebecca,
Approved. Congratulations.
Commissioner Carmen,
Approve.
and Commissioner Reyes.
Happily approved. Thank you.
Thank you,
Unanimous support.
commissioners.
Okay, so this brings us to the last item, which is our next meeting would be March 11. I hope to see you all. Have a great afternoon. Thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second, third.